bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors.
Today I'm going to review a couple of tools with you as I do some work today. The first one I want to review is from Haas Tool Company, and this is a two-wheel plow. It has all kinds of attachments. The one I was just using has a stirrup hoe on there. They're easy to take on and off. This tool comes with one of these implements, or you can buy them as a package. And using it the first time, that was awesome. The other thing I took off of it this morning were these harrow blades, or these cultivating blades. So I took these off and put the wheel hoe on. It took a couple of minutes, but for easy cultivation, you can see how the tool went through the row and helped me prepare this bed for what's going in there next, which are some tomatoes. But Haas Tools, so far I really like it. It does a great job in helping to finish up the bed prep, and should be a good tool for weeding between rows, between plants. And so yeah, it's just a really good tool, well made, very tough. It's got nice wood handles and all steel construction. So check it out. So this year we're going to try two different ways of growing tomatoes, or two different cage styles. First one, traditional, we've used concrete reinforcement steel and made little hoops out of those. For the really really vining tomatoes, we've got hoops or cages that we've made. Very inexpensive, much less expensive than buying those, and we just cut them with a pair of bolt cutters. And the other way we're doing this year is on panels. So we're going to use tomato clips to hold the tomatoes to the vines to the fence as they grow. So I've got these guys spaced out. I've got these guys spaced out, and I'm going to go ahead and get these guys planted next. These are yellow pears. These are Corellic cherries, and these are gold nugget cherries. As most of you may know, we use the Back to Eden garden method, and so we have a ton of wood chips. We started last year actually putting the wood chips, just spreading them out across the surface, and to be able to plant in this horrible gumbo black clay you see here. I've had several people tell me that it would be a good idea to plow the wood chips in when we make our beds. So that's what I've done. The other side of that is some people believe, and it's probably true, that when you put the wood chips directly into the soil, that you can, as they break down, they can deplete the nitrogen. But you have to start somewhere, number one, in developing a soil structure. And number two, you can see these little white specks in the soil where the wood chips are breaking down. It's creating the mycelium and the other organisms in the soil that we need in order for these guys to grow. So when I plant these, I prune off any of the bottom leaves here that are yellow and give them a nice long stem. These are the seed starts. We started about 8 weeks ago, maybe longer. And so digging the hole deep enough so that I can get them buried or planted pretty much up to here. So get them a nice deep space. The other thing to offset the issue with possibly not having enough nitrogen in the soil for these guys is, number one, as I plant each of these, I'm using an organic potting mix, put a little bit in there, that is really high in nitrogen. The other part of that is I plant these with, when I water all of these guys in, I'll water them in with a diluted fish emulsion. The fish emulsion is high in nitrogen and other minerals, so far we believe that that's going to give us a really good start for these tomatoes. And as the season goes, we'll keep you updated and see how this process is working. So when I plant these, I'll also put in some of this potting mix around the plant. It's the same potting mix that the seeds were started in. Just use enough of it to give them a sort of like a potting transplant, if you will. They're planted in the same thing that they were originally in, and then as they grow out, they can begin to develop roots into the surrounding soil. So we'll get this put in nice and firm, and we'll water it in well, make sure there's no air pockets and gaps and things in there. So at the top layer, I'll mix some of the soil I took out with the potting, this outdoor organic soil. This is the Kellogg I showed you on a previous video the other day. It's one that I really like. I've had really good luck with it. So if it's available in your area, you might give it a try. So there's how we plant our tomatoes. These are yellow pears, and we will go ahead, and I've got 3 more to do, and this row is done. I may have talked about this before, but it's another one of my favorite tools. This is a tool from Never Sink Tools. You know, when we're working in the garden, we're trying to cultivate, or we're trying to get rid of weeds. There's so many different tools for that. But what I found is this Never Sink tool is one of the best I've ever used. It's got things for all kinds of weeding. So these implements simply come on and off very simply. This wood that I'm using for weeding, they also come with a, let me get it off my shirt, they come with a variety. You can order them with a variety of different width heads. So when you're trying to do precision weeding around plants, so that's a 2-inch. You can just put that on there and get closer to plants. Easy for going down and working between rows, and just a super handy tool. I've got 4 different widths on that one. And for even better precision weeding, we have this, which I have these 2 different sized blades, and one, I believe that's a 3-inch, and one that's a 5-inch. And these, just like the wire weeder, this precision weeding tool just pops that one off, pops this one right in there. Get it in, there we go. So very handy, gives you a great tool. It's got a sharp edge and on here, and you can easily sharpen these tools with a file. So just very handy. I'm going to give you don't have a lot of weeds today, but I will show you. I'll show you how this guy works. It's also handy when you need to change the tool. You don't have to go and find the other tool. You can carry these with these little carabiners they come with. You can carry these right on a belt loop or on your suspenders, wherever you want to wear them. But they're super handy, and it keeps that tool on you, and you can change the width. They work very, very well. Really, really impressed with this tool. So hopefully you can see this. I'm not sure if it's so bright out here, but just take the wire weeder, you go right between your rows. It cultivates, and the wire just simply pulls those weeds right out. If you need to get really close to a plant, you can do that. Just pull that guy right out of the ground. Alright, so I've got the one on here. It's got a tapered angle on it and the sharp edge, and you can just go around your plants, around these beds. There's a weed right there next to the spinach plant. Without touching the spinach, I can just cut that right out of there. Works very, very well. You can get right up close to those plants. You can work right down the row and right down the center of the row between plants. Very easy. No bending to pull weeds, no stooping. It's easier on your back. Just an awesome tool for working the garden and doing that dreaded chore of weeding. So it'll also prevent you from having weeds in the first place by getting those wires, using the wire weeder or this precision cultivator up next to your plants to get them cleaned up. So again, very impressed with that tool. Check them out. Never Sink Tools also has a farm. They have market gardens. I think they're up in maybe Canada. They're up north somewhere. But check out Never Sink Tools and Never Sink Farm on YouTube.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth.